Boom. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Sunday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. So today we're going to be taking a look at a beer from a local brewery of mine. They are in St. Charles, Illinois, probably around like 20 minutes west of me, around there. And they are called 93 Octane Brewery. They do a lot of stuff based on cars, but they came out with a beer recently that caught my attention just because I really haven't had too many of this kind of style of beer before. I mean, I've had a couple of them, but it's not really in my wheelhouse to be like a first go-to style of beer for mine. And I like the can art of this one, and I really was intrigued by the profile of this beer. And today, we got one called Clown Shoes. It's their cream ale with cake batter and vanilla, which sounds very, very interesting. It's 4.9% ABV, so I would definitely consider this sessionable, in my opinion. But yeah, the can art looks really dope. I'm really intrigued to see what like a cream ale with cake batter and vanilla is going to taste like. I'm expecting a really nice amount of sweetness, almost like a decadence to it. And with color, of course, you're going to probably have a nice golden color. And with the ingredients they use in here, because it says right down the bottom of the can, the hops they used is Magnum hops, which is a normal kind of hops you would use when it comes to just your normal kind of other style of ale without it being kind of like an IPA or something like that. Magnum hops is definitely that kind of, just adds a slight bitterness, but it's not too bad. And then the malts they use two row, which two row is used in almost every kind of beer you think of. And then pale wheat, unmalted wheat, and then flaked oats, and then malted oats. So there's definitely a lot of malted you're definitely going to get a lot of malted sweetness coming through on this guy. But I'm curious when it comes to the cake batter and the vanilla they used in this, if it was actually like the actual cake batter itself. Maybe, I'm not sure. It would be kind of a pain in the ass to put into a beer, especially depends if they put like finding agents in there when it comes to adding clearing agents in there too as well. But most likely I'm thinking they added like a cake battery kind of concentrates to it, because you could add concentrates to beer to kind of get those flavors out of there instead of using the actual thing, which breweries do that all the time. But I'm thinking that's exactly what they did with this guy. So without further ado, let's crack this guy open and see what this thing's like on the nose. Yep, getting like a nice kind of malted forward kind of situation. Definitely not getting a lot of the cake batter on the nose. My sinuses might be clogged as well, so who knows. Yeah, but it smells like a pretty solid beer. So with cream ales, they're supposed to have a nice creamy to them, like creamy notes to them, of course, them being considered cream ales. But sometimes I have cream ales that have like a nice balance of creaminess and effervescence as well. So has a little bit like a bubblier mouthfeel. Sometimes you get a little bit of creamy notes in there, but I'm excited to see what this thing's going to kind of turn out to be. So I'm going to be drinking out of my new Texican Brewing Company pint glass this afternoon. Let's see how this guy pours. I'm expecting a pretty decent golden color to it, which is exactly what we're getting. It's pretty clear. A little bit of a head, but not too much. But yeah, that looks pretty damn delicious for the first beer of the day, if I say so myself. Has a really, really nice golden color to it. Pretty clear, if I said so myself. I know they have another rendition of this version coming out pretty soon. But yeah, definitely getting a little bit of maybe like the vanilla coming out a little bit more, but not really getting that cake battery kind of aromas from it. But without further ado, I think it's time for us to give this guy a try and see what this thing's all about. So, cheers everybody. Happy Sunday. Okay. Right up front, you kind of get that malted kind of flavor coming through that you would get sometimes from like a lager or something like that. But then you get like a rush of sweetness coming that lingers at the end. A little bit of cake battery, a little bit of vanilla. But overall, it definitely has more of like an effervescence kind of mouthfeel. Not really much of a creaminess that much in my opinion. Overall, the flavors are really, really nice. Definitely something that you have to be craving. It's not something that I would drink every single day. But overall, for being this kind of style of beer and kind of doing like a cake battery kind of experience with this, I think they absolutely nailed it. Yeah, you get a little bit of that cake battery kind of note in there. It's not like a predominant cake batter kind of flavor, but there's definitely a very, very nice sweetness that lingers at the end with it. Overall, right up front, you get that bubbly kind of effervescence coming through, and then it kind of mellows out into this nice, really smooth and almost creamy kind of sweetness coming through. You can definitely tell that it definitely is some kind of confection, maybe like a cake or anything like that, just because the sweeter flavors coming through, it almost reminds you of a dessert. So yeah, I think it's pretty damn solid. I like it. Usually cream ales aren't my go-to kind of thing, but I think they did absolutely nailed it with this guy. So let's look here on Untapped and see what they consider similar beers to this guy. So I'm curious. So they only have 3 beers on here for their similar beers list on Untapped. And knowing that it's more of like a smaller brewery, there might be not as many similar beers showing up on this list. So we got a Kolsch here from D&G Brewing Company, which I wouldn't really consider something similar to this, to be honest, because it's just your normal light. Kolsch is like your normal kind of light beer kind of situation. And then there's another 93 octane beer on here that they're showing as a similar beer called the Hugger Strawberry Orange Whip, which is kind of like a, let's see, Car Cooler Orange, American Orange Wheat Ale. Okay, so I wouldn't really consider that one. It's just probably like a nice summertime kind of wheat ale. And then we got the Birdsong Blonde Ale from Great Revivalist Brew Lab on here as a similar beer, which is, let's see, just a blonde ale. I guess maybe in some blonde ales you can kind of get creamy notes coming through, but this is a very, very specific kind of flavor for this kind of beer. So finding similar beers to this is definitely going to be a little bit something more in a difficult realm of finding a similar beer to this, because you don't see a lot of companies coming out with like a cake batter cream ale. To be honest, cream ales usually have like maybe 1 or 2 kind of characteristics. They're trying to get sweetness, they're trying to get creaminess coming from it, getting a little bit of effervescence, of course. So this is a very, very specific kind of cream ale that 93 Octane came out with, but it's still absolutely delicious. So I'm trying to figure out what I would put something similar to this. You may get a similar experience when it's something like a more of a cake kind of pastry stout as well. You're not going to get a lot of the you might get some effervescence from like a pastry stout. So most of the time it's gonna be syrupy, it's gonna be creamy, definitely gonna be a lot heavier than this one is, but you'll still get similar like sweet flavors. You may not get that kind of maltiness like up front like you get on this one, because all the flavor is on like a pastry stout that may be a cake batter. Pastry stout maybe a little bit have more depth to them and heavier mouthfeel. But when it comes to flavors, if they're kind of having anything that has similar to cake batter when it comes to a stout, I think you may get similar sweet kind of decadent desserty kind of flavors coming from that as well. So it's weird me like suggesting a beer that is not even the same kind of category as this beer, but just showing that you'll get similar like sweet characteristics and all that kind of stuff coming from this. You might get a maybe similar drinking experience. Who knows? But other than that, yeah, I think this beer is absolutely delicious. I'm a fan. I'm really excited for them to come out with their other variation of this, just because it's a very, very unique kind of sounding one, and I'm curious how they're going to make this one work when it comes to using it in a cream ale, if it's going to have a darker complexion to it, because the next one they're coming out with, where is it? Right here. I just saw it. Let's look. And if you want to know, if you're in the Illinois area, if you're around 93 Octane, this cream ale is available at the brewery right now. But they have one coming from their Clown Car series, which is a cream ale with a German chocolate cake variation of this, which I'm curious what that's going to do with color. It's going to definitely still have that same 4.9% ABV. But I'm curious of what that one's going to do when it comes to color of the beer, mouthfeel, if it's going to be creamier, because depending on the stuff they used. So it's very, very interesting to see what they're going to do with that one. But other than that, you can get this one in cans over at 93 Octane right now. And plus they have a bunch of different other varieties when it comes to other styles of beer. They have coffee porters. They have some, let's see, you got some more wheat ales. You got some IPAs. You got some some sours. They got a black IPA available. So they got a bunch of different varieties over at 93 Octane right now. So if you're in the northwest suburb area and want to go check out 93 Octane, I definitely would recommend it. They have a lot of really, really solid beers. And I'm not sure if they distribute out of the United States. I know on their website it shows that they distribute with throughout the Chicagoland by Windy City Distributing. So if you maybe go to hold of your local liquor store or bottle shop, see if they can order stuff through Windy City Distributing. They might be able to get stuff into another state. I'm not sure, but overall, yeah, I think this is an overall. It's still a simple style, but the complexity of sweetness is what really kind of brings this one forward for me. And I think it's just really, really nice and just overall a very, very solid beer. I would also consider this a beer that would kind of be good for somebody who's a beginner who may not like beer, just because if they like sweetness, they'll enjoy the sweetness they get at the end with this. It's light, it's not too heavy. So overall, this is a great almost starting beer for somebody who's looking for something that has a little bit more decadence to it. So let's look back here on Untappd. Let's read the description of this guy, and then we'll go into like what the ratings and stuff are. So with the description, it says a cream ale with cake batter. It's hard to find something stranger than seeing a clown car pulling up to your house, especially one as crazy as this. Jam-packed with cake batter and vanilla, this cream ale is a perfect addition to a birthday party or horror movie, for that matter. So if you didn't get the horror movie part of it, the clown car can art definitely shows like this almost like ICP kind of zombie clown coming out there with a birthday cake on there, coming out of a car. So it definitely has a nice touch to it when it comes to the can art. I really, really enjoy the can art. And of course they have the clown, and then they have the description of this one right here with everything that I just read off on Untappd. So let's look here and see. Like I said before, it's a 4.9% ABV, and with over 286 ratings, this one has an average rating of 3.9 out of 5, which is still pretty solid. I personally haven't seen a lot of cream ales get to that like average rating of a 4 and above, but seeing that this is a 3.9 average rating for only almost 300 ratings on this one, yeah, I think that's a pretty good average in my opinion. So I don't think I saw anybody on my friends list check this one in. It doesn't look like it, but I know my dad's had this one, but I think he might have forgot to check it in. But let's look and see what other people rated this guy. So this guy gave it a 4.25. Let's see what else we got here. We got another 4 saying first time here, tasty beer, Alex. So he purchased it at 93 Octane. So yeah, 93 Octane has a really, really nice tap room over there. And let's see what else we got. This guy gave another 4. Purchased it at the Tapster Lincoln Park, which is a place in Chicago, like a little beer bar. Let's see. We got a 3 out of 5 here. Purchased at Tapster. Let's see what else. Let's do like 2 or 3 more. What else? So we got a 4.25 here, purchased at 93 Octane, saying you drink beer when you make beer. So this guy's looks like he's doing a little bit of home brewing, and he's drinking some 93 Octane to kind of pass the time. But then let's look at last 2 here. This guy gave it a 4 out of 5, and the final one we're going to look at here is a full 5 out of 5 rating. So this guy must have definitely enjoyed this one. But with all that being said, let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing on our end over here for ratings. So let's see. Let's pour the rest of it in there. And let's look at the can art. You guys already saw when I showed up the can art a little bit, and I already told you guys that I really, really enjoy it. It definitely has the kind of theme to it that pulls me towards it. So if I saw this at a liquor store or bottle shop, this would definitely catch my attention, just because you got the crazy kind of killer clown on there with the cake batter on its knife, and there's a cake on his car and all that kind of stuff. The splatters, the different colors, almost show you a shadow in the background. So they really took advantage of taking up all the real estate that they have on the can, which is really, really nice. I can always appreciate 93 Octane's kind of logo, which is really, really nice. And then showing that little clown car with the clown on the top, and then having the description and all that kind of stuff is a really, really nice touch. Lets you know that you can kind of look into what you're drinking. Of course, with showing the hops and the malts they use in here is a really nice touch as well. I really like when breweries do that, kind of showing you the ingredients that they add in it. It's always a really, really nice touch. But overall, can art is very, very solid. I'm going to give this a solid, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I really, really do enjoy this one. This is definitely one that I'd probably save the can art on, just because having that kind of ICP, almost crazy killer clown kind of look on there is really cool. Plus, it's like he's in like a risen chopper with, you can see the exhaust coming out the side. I think it's just a really, really cool can art. So, with all that being said, let's see. If I got this beer in a flight at 93 Octane, if I decided to go over there and just get a flight, and I had this one, and would I get another one? Absolutely. I'm definitely doing enjoy enough to where I'd probably get a glass of it on its own. I'm not sure if I'm 100% to the point to where I'd get a 4-pack on my own just to have stocked in the house. I'd definitely have more than one of these, but having to where I have 4, it's like this. Like I said, this is definitely one that I can't drink more than 1 in a row, just because it's just, well, the sweetness isn't too pungent, but they're definitely, I can see to where the point of you drinking multiple of these, the sweetness might get a little old after a while. But I think overall, Yeah, this is a fantastic beer. 93 Octane knocked it out of the park with this guy. I think it's smooth, has a little bit of effervescence to it, with still keeping that kind of creamy decadence to it at the end. The vanilla's nice. The cake battery kind of notes in and at the end are very, very nice. You still get that kind of malt forward kind of flavor that you would expect out of a cream ale or maybe like a lager or something like that. But overall, yeah, 93 Octane did a fantastic job with this one. So other than that, I think that is pretty much what I have for you guys today. So if you want to get your hands on something from 93 Octane, of course, they're available at the tap house. Anything's available at the tap room right now. You can even get this one available over there right now as well. And what you can also do, you can wait if you want to try the German chocolate cake version. That's going to be coming out pretty soon. I'm definitely interested to trying that one out. Who knows, I might do a review on it as well. But overall, 93 Octane always comes out with some really, really good stuff over there. So you show them some love. You're in the Chicagoland area, go over there, have a couple beers. They have a really, really nice tap house and a really, really cool environment over there. So always love supporting local breweries when I can, just because it's just a great like team of breweries within the Chicagoland area that just have wonderful things going on. We always stick together. We always working together with other breweries and all that kind of stuff. So always got to support local when you can, just because that's the backbone of small business, really. But let's see. I'm not going to say anything about Tavour because you can't get this stuff on Tavour, even though I'd love to see 93 Octane show up on Tavour. So who knows? Maybe you can, if you want to see anything, if you're using Tavour and want to see anything from 93 Octane showing up on there, do a little Instagram post or something where you tag Tavour and 93 Octane and say, hey, let's see if we can get something working together to where you can see 93 Octane's beers showing up on there. So that'd be a really cool thing to see. But last but not least, before we get the hell out of here, actually, I didn't do a final rating on this one. Jesus Christ. The past few reviews lately, I've been forgetting to do final ratings. Good thing I didn't forget this time. But I think for my final rating on this one, I'm going to give this a very, very solid 7.5 out of 10. I really do enjoy it. This is definitely one, if you haven't really experimented with cream ales before, this would definitely be a good introductory to that kind of style. You get decadence, you get creaminess. And then if you're kind of looking into getting into the craft beer itself, you're looking for something that's not like your average Miller Lite or Coors or all that kind of light crap, you may be able to find something that is in your wheelhouse by trying this out, because you can get some sweetness, you can get some like non-beer flavors that people who don't like beer might enjoy this a little bit more. So overall, yeah, I keep on saying it, but 93 Octane did a really, really good job with this one. So other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are amazing. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. Also, if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, along with that notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live do another review. But last but not least, before we get the hell out of here, what else do we got? Let's see. Oh yeah, if you're on social media, if you're on Facebook or anything, and you're a craft beer drinker, and if you're not on Untappd yet, you need to do it as the moment you get off here. Get yourself onto Untappd. You can download the app, either Android or iPhone. I like to call it Facebook for beer drinkers, practically. You can check in beers, get badges, see what's popular in your area, see what your friends are drinking, see what's the trending beers are in your area, all that kind of stuff. It's just a fantastic platform. I cannot say enough good things about Untappd. They've gotten me to find out about Tavour, which you guys hear me talk about all the time, and how I get a lot of my craft beer that I normally can't get my hands on. And it's just seeing what's available near me, what kind of breweries are near me, all that kind of stuff. It's just the platform that Untappd has come out with, which is making an overall great place for craft beer, is just phenomenal. Plus, you can see people like me, my father's on there, Wintucky, Duchess, Ian, Face Meat's on there. A bunch of us are on Untappd just checking in beers and having a good time. So it's an overall really, really fun experience. And if you're on your computer most of the time, you can even use it through the browser, which is what I do once in a while. But other than that, that is what I have for you guys today. So again, thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are amazing. And I'm going to end it like I always end it before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.